there, Inskillers. Wow! We are celebrating our 6th successful session of InSkills. And today we will be diving into effective conversation skills. In the past, we have tackled English basic conversation, self-introduction, vocabulary building, pronunciation refinement, and we have also worked and mastered on our oral fluency in English. And today, before we get further, it is important for us to know that to be able to take our skills up a notch, it is important to identify and understand that in our sessions today, we have two kinds of learners. Ones who are comfortable in English, and on the other hand, there are some of us who may not be as equally comfortable speaking in English. So the fantastic techniques that now will be coming forth will be able to address both the types of English learners in the InSkill sessions today. First up, it is important that we train our brain to think in English. That sounds funny, to train your brain to think in English. But believe me, this strategy will really work. And for those who really feel, even at this point, a tad bit nervous to speak in English. And believe me, we have your back because we will take you step by step. So the first step forward would be that we try to train our brain to think in terms of simple vocabulary. For a college student, these are common words that we use on a day-to-day basis to converse or to communicate. And we don't even have to think much about it because these are the words that surround us. For example, since we are all college students, the words could be laboratory, it could be library, it could be college lobby, it could be gymnasium, entry gate, exit gate. It could be all about and everything and anything related to what helps you communicate within that little community that you're in. And once you're cool with these common words in English, the next step is to train your brain to construct or frame simple sentences. And how can we do that? Once again, taking an example from our college life, how would you say simple things such as, I must leave for college early so as to avoid traffic? Or to make it even simpler, you would say something like that I have to leave for college early so that I don't get caught in the traffic. Or even simpler and closer to an Indianized way of saying would be that I must leave for college early so that I don't get stuck in the traffic. And similarly, the other example could be that I'm really excited to be going to college to meet my buddies. To make it simpler for this one, for us to be able to think in terms of English, we could say that, oh, I'm really looking forward to meet all my buddies and pals. So it's all about training your brain to first think in terms of those simple common vocabularies and then follow the next step to combine those, to bring those common words and start framing simple sentences. And finally, now that you are comfortable with the idea of constructing these simple sentences, we'll take it a little further and get into thinking in terms of conversation, because now you really have to level up by trying to not just think but also to be able to speak in English. And in doing so, it is very, very easy for you to just think about a friendly conversation that you will have with yourself, where you would ask questions and also try to answer those questions. And in doing so, believe me, this tiny effort of yours to be able to think in terms of conversing with yourself will not only make you natural in speaking in English, but confident enough to be able to help you level up your English faster. And for those who are already at a certain level of English comfort, where you really rock in English, you are comfortable, but you still want to amp up, you want to bring up that English conversation to a certain notch, it is important for you to know that the conversation has to be meaningful. And to make the conversation meaningful, when you are immersed in a conversation, you must make sure that you ask open-ended questions. These magical questions will get the person into talking, and not just simply talking, but getting into a deeper meaning. So what I mean is that you sow the seed which will lead you to an insightful and a meaningful conversation. And dear Inscalers, so I hope that I have been able to address the concerns of both the students, one, whose level of English has to be upskilled, and for those who are already rocking it. But the game is not yet over. The activity lined up for today will put these two techniques into test. What we would want to see is that you keep up the competitive spirit and the idea of growth and learning, because it is very important that we are in a session, we must enjoy every bit of what we are learning, and while also putting that into practice. I will see you in the class, but remember that we have to really make this conversation effective by practicing the techniques.